Hello everyone, today is Monday, October 7th, the first Monday in October, although really it feels like the second Monday in October. So this is a leaf from this plant here, and it looks like it's kind of faded away, so it looks like fading leaves of autumn. And leaves are time wafers of nature. In a certain way, leaves are time wafers. In the spring, you see them bud from nothing, and they just come out of these little nubs of green and unfold into these beautiful leaves and then flowers, certain trees, certain plants. Then they grow and grow toward summer solstice, and then they have their high July days in July and August, and then they start kind of retracting, withdrawing in late August, September. By October, we're definitely in autumn, and there are 6 seasons, at least in the upper Midwest, according to the great Dr. Kurt Vonnegut. And autumn is September and October. The great locking is November and December. January and February are winter. And then March and April are the great unlocking. Then May and June are spring. And July and August are summer. Then September and October are autumn. So that's the Chinese calendar's different. Then you have the 4 seasons, but really it's the 6th season for those who have the 6th sense. So this is dedicated to those who have the 6th sense, developing the 6th sense in autumn. And I was listening to a book review today, a story about a book, and something came to me that hadn't heard before, which is this process, or don't call it process, regress of global warming, as usually in geologic time, like eons of time, tens of thousands of years. Well now, according to the latest, global warming time, that geologic time is accelerating faster than chronological time, chronos time, the linear time. In other words, if you think about it, global warming, or thawing of the glaciers, is proceeding faster than time can keep up with it. Regular time, Earth time. Not circadian time or sidereal time. This is just chronological time. And that surely upsets the bioregional biorhythms. So in one form or another today, we'll talk about the recession of the glaciers, the precession of the equinoxes, and the speed up of geological time through global warming to accelerate and exceed that of chronological time. And so if you want to know what time it is, you can put yourself in the middle of all those different time configurations and see where we might be. It's always a good thing to begin with celebration in this Greenfire hour of this golden eternity of now, here in this electronic campfire of the air. May the joy of the journey continue to be upon all of us, and that is certainly with good heart. So here we are, October 7th, and this is a Monday. So we will say the honors of age. When I am old, I will be an elephant. The wrinkles on my skin will be the only known recording of my truth. Like the bark on the trees in the ancient old-growth forests, I will have valleys and ravines stretched into my surface, marking the places where abundance grows wild. And fairies come to dance in the shade of my eyelashes. There will be forgiveness for everything, everyone. I will have giant ears like Aquarius and awesome tusks to signify my righteous place in the kingdom of the universe. When I trumpet, the vibrations are tuning to the earth, rhythms that carry my feet back to the water when I am old. So this is divine power and the honors of age. When I am old, I will be an elephant. The wrinkles on my skin will be the only known recording of my truth. Like the bark on the trees in the ancient old-growth forests, I will have valleys and ravines stretched into my surface, marking the places where abundance grows wild, and fairies come to dance in the shade of my eyelashes. There will be forgiveness for everything, everyone. I will have giant ears like Aquarius and awesome tusks to signify my righteous place in the kingdom of the universe. When I trumpet, the vibrations are tuning to the earth. When I trumpet, the vibrations are tuning to the earth like we want to tune to the earth during this time of rapidly accelerating global warming. Rhythms that carry my feet back to the water when I am old. And fairies come to dance in the shade of my eyelashes. There will be forgiveness for everything, everyone. I will have giant ears like Aquarius and awesome tusks. Awesome tusks. So that's the divine power of the honors of age. And in this season, the maiden, the mother, the queen, the crone, she wants red. She wants red, a ruby slick of paint on her brush, not a youthful cherry red, an older woman's dark lipstick, wine red eyeshadow, garnet drop earrings, glinting like pomegranate seeds. She wants red now. When the last of her moon blood is leaving breakup letters on her underwear, flash of a hummingbird throat. She wants red. She licks the blush from a rose hip, whispers yes, feels her body's red places redden. She's all smoldering coals, she makes borscht. Beet juice stains her hands. She wants to fill the tub with it and soak. She orders red flannel sheets, queen size for her solitary bed, sleeps in the glowing cave, dreams of a room in her house she's never entered. On the far wall, a strange woman is carving the word change. This is during a waxing full moon in Capricorn. This is quite good. Maiden, mother, queen, crone. She wants red. She wants red, a ruby slick of paint on her brush, not a youthful cherry red, an older woman's dark lipstick, wine red eyeshadow, garnet drop earrings, glinting like pomegranate seeds. She wants red now? When the last of her moon blood is leaving breakup letters on her underwear, flesh of a hummingbird throat. She wants red. She licks the blush from a rose hip, whispers yes, feels her body's red places redden. She's all smoldering coals, she makes borscht. Beet juice stains her hands. She wants to fill the tub with it and soak. She orders red flannel sheets, queen size for her solitary bed, sleeps in a glowing cave, dreams of a room in her house she's never entered. On the far wall, a strange woman is carving the word change. Yes, indeed, we're in the season of change. And that was about maiden, mother, wise woman, crone, the ember glow. On becoming a crone, this is a woman's point of view. Aging is not stealthy like some ninja warrior sneaking up and nunchucking me from behind. New lines and wrinkles appear on the mirror daily, whether I choose to acknowledge them or remain in denial. I'm surprised when I bend down to pick up something I've dropped, again to feel a new twinge or stab catch my breath. Aging is not beautiful. The silver framing my face may be precious, but only as a reward for all the courage I've revealed. The soft curves of this woman's body are not a sign of vulnerability, but symbolize the great expanse of her soul. Today she treasures really looking people in the eye, saying aloud, I like your smile, your sweater, your care. Aging is not inevitable. We are blessed with each bonus day, another moment to tell a loved one they are loved. I try to halt the peevishness I feel towards the flesh hanging from my arms by assuring myself that I now have angel's wings. And then I laugh at myself because crones aren't always angels. Sometimes they transform into bitches, revealing their wrath, and when that happens, they whisper, can you see me now? Aging is not in the mind, where I will always remain 30, while my body changes and prepares for the next transition. I forgive myself for the days when I wheezed like an organ needing repair, for truly I am an oak tree with strong roots, able to dance in the wind, yet curious, wily, and wild enough to march on Washington while proudly shouldering a rainbow flag a little higher. And I've done that. And when that happens, can you hear me roar? Silver power is not for the faint-hearted. Let us look in the eyes, and if you dare, discount us at your peril. You will see tigers burying their teeth, or what remains of them. Listen closely, you will hear us growl. We are becoming crones. We care more for serenity and less for what others think. With less to lose, we are reckless and daring, and when that happens, you will miss us. Will you miss us sneaking up behind you? You will find us. We are reckless and daring, and when you find us that way, will you miss us sneaking up behind you? The many timekeepers. And still we reflect on that little notion. Is it possible that global warming is accelerating and as the time clock is going faster than the day clock, the chronological time clock? Is that possible? Is that hourglass that which is already gone through in the days of the hourglass? Think about that. If that has resonance to you, what does that mean for you, the rest of your life, your loved ones, their lives, and possibly their children? Because of global warming, not to scare anybody, but think about that. Your children's lives and your grandchildren's lives. That's where the impact is. So what about the seventh generation yet to come? We think about a lot of things in life, but we rarely think about the seventh generation yet to come. And if we're going to make it on this planet, we begin to prioritize the seventh generation yet to come. For in that transformative moment, we change our decision matrix and absolutely radical transform our decision making from about us and here and now to whether this is a path with a heart. And when we make a decision about consuming or buying something, some product or something of the earth, let us ask this question. Does this path have a heart? Does this path have a heart? If this path has a heart, then that's good to go. We can make a decision that says, yes, this path has a heart. And the other question that we plug in to any decision we might want to make, how it affects the ecosystem, the watershed, the air shed, the soil shed, the land, air, and water. The question is, how does this decision I make right now, how will it impact the seventh generation yet to come? That's the big plug-in here. How will the decisions I make now, in terms of consumption and related concerns, how will that impact the seventh generation yet to come? For that is the bigger picture. The 200-year, we send our eyes into the future, 200 years, into the seventh generation yet to come. And we ask ourselves, how will this impact that generation? For if we don't ask ourselves, how will this impact the seventh generation yet to come? That seventh generation may not ever come because of the decisions and the choices that we make now about how we treat Mother Earth, how we treat the water, how we treat one another, how we treat the air, and how we treat the earth, land, air, and water. This is the new law. So this is impinging upon us, pressing in this global warming phenomenon that is going faster than literally the speed of time. That's right. Global warming is now faster than the speed of chronological time. That means in the next 10 years, you're going to see phenomena that hasn't been seen in the last 200 years, one way or another, that is shrinking down the time continuum. We live in a space-time continuum, according to Einstein, right? So, I don't know about space, but we're shrinking down the time continuum. So what takes an hour regular Earth time, that is happening now on the global warming time frame in a half an hour. So in 24 hours, global warming has accelerated 48 hours. And so we have breathing to do. And so we will breathe. In Lakesh, I am another yourself. Alakan, you are another myself. In Lakesh, I am another yourself. Alakan, you are another myself. In Lakesh, I am another yourself. Alakan, you are another myself. In Lakesh, Alakan, Alakan, in Lakesh, in Lakesh, Alakan. That's right. And we will go into some breathing in a little bit. But in another way of looking, this is just another way of looking. In another way of looking, we also can slow down time. We can slow down our consumption, slow down our rushing around, slow down our having to do and accomplish so many things. Because doing is not being. So if you accomplish a lot of things, that's doing. But that's not necessarily being. And in being, you use the reflection process, not the outer skin of the exoteric. You embrace and inhale the esoteric as well, the implicate order of things. In reflection, you can slow down time. So you get off the rat race of the rabbit and slow down time to turtle time, which is biocosmic time. Turtle time is earth time. Slowing down earth time, not rabbit time, running around frantically. Turtle time is slow time. And it's a rhythm, biorhythm. Slow down to the biorhythm of turtle time. This in itself can help us from our addiction to behaviors of consumption. And we can step off that hamster wheel of being a consumer all the time. Consumer, think of that, we consume. So we don't have to consume all the time. Turtle time allows us to have a hammock across the universe and stretch out our consumption behavior. So we don't literally consume time all the time. Because that's what we've been doing. Consuming time all the time. That's where the time has been consumed by us. For unnecessary behaviors of consumption, to literally consume. So with turtle time, we don't have to consume all the time. We can let time be. And that's, when we consume all the time, that's doing. But in being, we can let time be. And we can have a harmonious marriage to bioregional time. Bioregional time is maybe not part of the bicameral mind, if there is such a thing, but it doesn't consume time. It lets time be, and we don't have to do, which means we're consuming time. We can store time up and let it for another day. That's when we store time up, we're not consuming it. And we're moving on to turtle time, which is let time be, and maybe have an energy, a credit account of time down the road. Let time be for another time. If we let time be for another time, we start putting the credits into our time account. Right now, we're so much in the red and debit. Probably trillions of time signatures in debit by our overconsumption and overeating and overactivity consuming time. We have no money, no time money in the bank. That thing's we're trillions of time units in debt. At least trillions, maybe even quadrillions. I don't know, it may very well be. But we're consuming time, so our time deficit is humongous. So in order to restore our time credits in the bank and come to some balance in our accounts, we have to step off with the doing and the consuming time wheel and stop being consumers. And that's a full-time job. Wherever we can, step back and reflect. How does this choice I make to consume here or not to consume, does this path have a heart? And in the 7th generation yet to come, how will this decision I choose right now to whether to consume or put it aside for another day, another week, another month, another year, not to consume, which builds up the time credit on a planetary basis. And that time credit of slowing down time can decelerate the global warming process, because we're not consuming everything up to the last. We're starting to put stuff back into the time account. And then as we step back and put things back into the time account, we begin to become time lords, or time bandits, if you will, because we're stealing time by not stealing time. Because on the acceleration of the consumption matrix, we're literally time stealers. But we can become time bandits by not stealing time, and therefore replenishing our time account on the credit side of things. And that makes perfect sense, does it not? We're all on this wheel, this great wheel together. We all are taking or have taken our place upon the great mandala. And here we are, again on the second turning of the early autumn equinox seasonal wheel, turning of the seasonal equinox seasonal wheel. And we reflect on these things a little more so. And that is part of our learning. This is part of our learning. And if we choose, the learning wheel can come to us as a teacher wheel, and that comes in different forms, and many times in the forms of nature, in the form of the appearance of a certain animal. It may just surprise you. Maybe a squirrel, or maybe some flower that just appears only in the fall. Maybe the apple in the orchard that is just fallen and ready to be eaten, cherished, savored, or become cider, or something really juicy. As we go through this season, we look at the autumn equinox. And the mother sun shines directly on the equator once and twice, only twice, and that's on the autumn equinox and the spring equinox. And she dances our day and night into balance. Since the summer solstice, the hours of daylight have been greater than the hours from dusk to dawn. For the rest of the wheel of the year, the reverse holds true. In this final harvest, we have finished old projects and dreams. Trees releasing their leaves, show us how to let go. Before turning from summer and facing winter, we reflect on what we are reaping, especially as a human family. We actively seek and uphold that which is positive. The rhythm of the solar wheel suggests rest. We slow down to gently absorb and rejoice in Gaia. During the transition called autumn, when we celebrate both bounty and impermanence, we reflect that Gaia too is impermanent. How much time does she have? Yet she asks for trust. Even given the alarms that surround us, we in the world flare in brief brilliance and embrace the first footsteps of darkness. So that's the seasonal wheel, the fire of all life. We'll return to it. This is from a piece that I wrote somewhere about 1.5 years ago. We shall see. I did a series of pieces. So this was written summer solstice, June 20th, a year ago, 2018. Cosmogenesis. It's summer solstice. Arctic Zimbabwe is not a meme. That ought to make you feel good. Go low and go slow is the motto. Summer solstice means the sun stands still for 4 days. A major arcana, cardinal point on the seasonal wheel. And we just rode right into this on a horse with no name. And this solstice is where our soul stands still for 4 days. As Tunkan Shila, the great mystery, the great creator, thunderclaps rolled the clouds of cumulus, and a friend told me she just got kicked out of a yoga conference in Phoenix. Another friend said he was with Guru Amma in New Mexico. Om Jai Jai Ma, Om Jai Jai Ma, Om Jai Jai Ma. And another said she had an outer body experience with white light tunnel in a waiting station with other people waiting, and then some strong pull like a magnet at her back pulled her away from there, and she opened her eyes and she was back in a medical clinic with a crash cart ready to be on her, and didn't know where she was for a few blinks, all in response to a message sent, raining and celebrating the rain. And we arrive into Driftless. Driftless is this area of northeast Iowa, southeast Minnesota, southwest Wisconsin, and northwest Illinois, a place where the great glaciers are said not to have ever gone. And we arrive into Driftless as our cosmic birthright, our celestial inheritance, and the whole thing comes through in wave after wave as lightning and thunder roll on this 4 p.m. summer solstice afternoon. And this has been the pattern this whole June: darkness at noon, mid-90s and humidity, followed by record and near record rains. On this, the 10th anniversary of the epic flood of the Cedar River, Moskwa-Wakwa, in eastern Iowa. Still, this is the summer solstice. Still, this is the summer solstice, turning into planet of the dove, and Driftless has a deep ecology and a deeper smile of a sacred terminology, and deeper yet sacred geometry, with astroarchaeological mounds with healing energy rays in emanations coming in from everywhere, emanations from the hierarchy, emanations from the hierophany, emanations to the hieroths who are awakening to their manifest divinity each and every day. These are graces from divine intelligence up and down the plane. Once one goes vertical and thinks with a biophiliac mind, love for the biophilias, love for life, biophilias, and the thunder rolls, and the thunder really rolls, and the tree of life appears, cosmogenesis, healing energy waves as graces, starseed transmissions from higher intelligence of celestial spheres, and this hookup is never ending, and near Strawberry Point at Backbone, these emanations form a beatific vision that lasts all night. This cosmogenesis is a fixity of white light, both horizontal and vertical, on an axial mundi plane, a white cross in midair that lasts all night, an aurora from an off-planet borealis, a white cross in midair, amidst the standing stones of Backbone. This is epicenter of Driftless. This cosmic consciousness is implicate loving, infinite order of universe, a higher union with higher beings, bodhisattvas, all with bodhicitta motivation. Through this direct yogi perception and grounding of the starseed transmissions, seeding Driftless and the entire planet with higher intelligences of divine compassion, the awakening and remembering of our cosmic inheritance. and grounding of our aboriginal being, here in this re-inhabitory time out of mind, in driftless cosmic planetary paradigm mind shift from P to the third of power, profit, and pleasure to P to the third people, peace, planet. In this infinite, immense, intelligent compassion called Sophia, and the thunder rolls on summer solstice, and the thunder rolls on summer solstice, and the thunder rolls on summer solstice, turning of the wheel at standstill, in this evolutionary spiral Hajira, in this evolutionary spiral Hajira, upward through grace alone, we see and deserve and discover the Holy Trinity through the grace of this immaculate conception. Through the grace of this immaculate conception, life, love, light, in our holy electricity body, in our holy electricity body. Here we're singing our body electric. Here regeneration, miracles is possible. In this Kairos driftless moment, exuberance, emanations, amazing grace. So we shall return to that. But this is the next piece written on June 27, 2018. Driftless Vertex Sutra. We come into the driftless with some awareness and no awareness. This is all sensitivity and no intensivity of tensegrity and no intention on our part. It's a body of awareness that draws us there, mostly because of its scenic beauty. Half of the question is the driftless aware of us. Half of the question is the driftless aware of us. In its many valleyed forests, the chain gang came through here and clear-cut and logged a lot of the forest. More than 100 years ago, they cleared and logged a lot of red cedar trees, Moskwa Wakwa. What remains are the kettle moraine remains of Dreamtime before DeSoto and the killing of Chief Blackhawk at DeSoto. If we are fortunate to have a biopsychic field that adds to the tensegrity and intentionality and tonality of our awareness, we gather here in the driftless. For different reasons, in different seasons, some intimate, some sacred, some personal, some all three. On the high front porch step of one of the bluffs overlooking Mississippi driftless, when biodiversity and cultural diversity straighten up and do things right. They are eagle in flight on this great upper Mississippi Midwestern flyway. So far, some of the only things they've got right is to name this some of the great river road, the driftless. That's a beginning, something to celebrate. A lot of this is inchoate, non-chthonic. It is vertical and can give you vertigo if you're not prepared or tuned in. It's summer solstice. The rainbow family of living light has already begun to go on the Going Through the Sun Trail. For a fortnight of sun dancing, full moon is in spin, and we are taken in to another deeper time when the world was young, and we are in a higher union of magical child. This is all vertical biophilius cosmosphere of the bioregional vision being displayed in a beatific way. This comes from a sacred fusion of the highly personal with hyperspace. spread upon the earth for us to see when we are granted the grace to see the place with second vision. There are no infrared night goggles. This is granted only when we open our heart, sacré clair, deep in the dark night, when no one is there. This is not the dark night of the ninth hell of scientific materialism in Babylon. This is the dark night of the soul, when the loss of someone so sacred stuns and overcomes our life, and brings us to a crashing thunder halt. Winnebago of the Driftless know this. So does Mountain Wolf Woman, and Thunder Woman, and Crashing Thunder, and Thunder Woman, for her cries are from the deep Paleolithic time, the true ecology of the driftless mind. Bodhisattvas and sutras of compassion live here too, singing Om Namaha Shivaya, Om Namaha Shivaya, Om Namaha Shivaya. This is not just any full moon. This sorrow, this grief so deep, takes you back to the cocoon of your existence up in Echo Hollow, in some front story unit of Moon Zoo, and the compassionate driftless Mississippi refuses no river, and full moon pulls riptides of deep driftless memory currents till they burn on our back a new name, coming in from the deep Adina near Wadena, and the healing energy rays, of deep astrocartographical mound culture charts our bioregional mapping back into the stars. This astrocartography, biopsychic mapping of our vertical cosmic self, leads us back into constellations of the stars, our true birthplace. And these emanations of the second vision are the coming of our starseed transmissions, of our double diamond vertex sutra embedded in our very RNA. And the world becomes anew. And the world becomes anew in our very marrow and sinew, right here in situ, in driftless, for here lay the bedrock of the world. For here lay the bedrock of the world for this fifth round of humanity. Here the flowering of the sixth sun will pulsate as emanations, and Phaedra is replaced with Arhate as we follow the path with a heart. Through the Holy Trinity of love, light, and life, and the Immaculate Conception at the Sacre Claire, White Cross at the geomagnetic deviation zone of telluric standing stones at Backbone, bursts Earth Boy 40 into Laughing Mirth Boy 40, and the whole thing is at standstill as all this anomalous phenomena laughs as fireflies flicker their biosexuality deep into the July night, and shapeshift their merry lovemaking into midsummer night's dream of morphogenic resonance fields of fairy light in flight. And this rupture of plane, and this rapture of plane whirls us into the unknown space, terra incognita, standing right under our feet as we are graced for the first time to see driftless with the second vision into and return to dream time. It inures and ensures this deep ecology, planet drum, bioregional mapping is beginning to psychogenically form new ideograms of imago mundi in our minds. through wild crafting into deep stone certainty, a new story, as we become but one carrier of the dream wheel. And Wambly and Wapiti and Ursa Major can't help but hurry her return. Aho. So these are a couple of driftless poems begun on summer solstice of 2018. And so we will go back and do what's known as a quick belly for one, and a quick belly for the other if possible, when it will be possible. Cosmogenesis, Iowa City summer solstice, June 20th, 2018. It's summer solstice. Arctic Zimbabwe is not a meme. That ought to make you feel good. Go low and go slow is the motto. Summer solstice means the sun stands still for 4 days. A major arcana, cardinal's point on the seasonal wheel. And we just rode right into this on a horse with no name. This solstice is where our soul stands still for 4 days. As Tunkashila thunderclaps roll the clouds at Cumulus, and a friend told me she just got kicked out of a yoga conference in Phoenix. Another friend said he was with Guru Amma in New Mexico. Om Jai Jai Ma, Om Jai Jai Ma, Om Jai Jai Ma. And another said she had an out-of-body experience with a white light tunnel in a waiting station while other people waiting, and then a strong pull like a magnet at her back pulled her away from there, and she opened her eyes and was back in the medical clinic with the crash cart ready to be on her, and didn't know where shows for, and she didn't know where she was for a few blinks, all in response to a message sent about raining and celebrity in the rain. And we arrive into Driftless as our cosmic birthright, our celestial inheritance. And the whole thing comes through, in wave after wave as lightning and thunder roll on this 4 p.m. summer solstice afternoon. And this has been the pattern this whole June, darkness at noon, mid-90s and humidity, followed by record and near-record rains. On this, the 10th anniversary of the epic flood, still this is the summer of love. Turning into the planet of the dove, and the Driftless has a deep ecology, and a deeper sacred terminology, and deeper yet a sacred geometry, with astroarchaeological mounds, with healing energy rays, and emanations coming in from everywhere, emanations from the hierarchy, emanations from the hierophany, emanations to the hieroths, who are awakening to their manifest divinity. And each and every day, these are graces from divine intelligences, up and down the plane. Once one goes vertical and thinks with a biophiliac mind, love for life, biophilius, and the thunder rolls, and the thunder really rolls, and the tree of life appears, cosmos in cosmogenesis, healing energy waves, graces, starseed transmissions from higher intelligence of celestial spheres, and this hookup is never ending, and near Strawberry Point at Backbone, these emanations form a beatific vision that lasts all night. This cosmogenesis is a fixity of white light, both horizontal and vertical, on an axial mundi plane, a white cross in midair that lasts all night, an aurora from off-planet Borealis, a white cross in midair amidst the standing stones of Backbone. This is epicenter of Driftless. This cosmic consciousness is implicate, loving, infinite order of universe, a higher union with higher beings. Bodhisattvas, all with bodhicitta motivation, through this direct yogic perception and grounding of its starseed transmissions, seeding the driftless and an entire planet with higher intelligences of divine compassion, the awakening and the remembering of our cosmic inheritance, and grounding of our aboriginal being here in this re-inhabitory time out of mind, in driftless cosmic planetary paradigm mind shift, from P to the third of power, profit, and pleasure, to P to the third of people, peace, and planet. In this infinite, immense, intelligent compassion called Sophia, and the thunder rolls on summer solstice, turning of the wheel at standstill in this evolutionary spiral Hajira, upward through grace alone, we see and discover the Holy Trinity through this grace of the Immaculate Conception. Life, love, light is our holy electricity body. Here, regeneration, miracle is possible in this Kairos driftless moment. Exuberance, emanations, amazing grace. And so we turn to this Driftless Vertex Sutra, thinking again about how global warming has accelerated chronological time. The speed up of global warming has now accelerated chronological time. What is in the hourglass? Ask that question, thinking only of how will this affect the seventh generation yet to come. We come into the driftless with some awareness and no awareness. This is all sensitivity and no intensivity, tensegrity, and no intention on our part. It's a body of awareness that draws us there, mostly because of its scenic beauty. Half of the question is the driftless aware of us. In its many valleyed forests, the chain gang came through here and clear-cut and logged most of the forest more than 100 years ago, and what remains are the kettle moraine remains of dream time, before DeSoto and the killing of Chief Blackhawk at DeSoto. If we are fortunate to have a biopsychic field that adds to the tensegrity and intentionality and tonality of our awareness, we gather here in the driftless for different reasons and different seasons. Some intimate, some sacred, some personal, some all three, on the high front porch step of one of the bluffs overlooking Mississippi driftless. When biodiversity and cultural diversity straighten up and do things right, they are eagle in flight on the great upper Midwestern flyway. So far, some of the only things they've got right is to name some of the great river road the driftless. That's the beginning, something to celebrate. A lot of this is inchoate, non-chthonic. It is vertical and can give you vertigo if you're not prepared. Or tuned in. It's summer solstice. The rainbow family of living light has already begun to go onto this going to the sun trail for a fortnight of sun dancing. Full moon is in spin, and we are taken into another deeper time when the world was young, and we are in a higher union of magical child. This is all vertical, biophilius, cosmosphere, a bioregional vision, being displayed in a beatific way. This comes from a sacred fusion of the highly personal with the hyperspace, spread upon the earth for us to see, when we are granted the grace to see the place with a second vision. And these are no infrared night goggles. This is granted only when we open our heart, softly clair, deep in the dark night, when no one is there. This is not the dark night of the ninth hell of scientific materialism. This is in Babylon. This is the dark night of the soul, when the loss of someone so sacred stuns and overcomes our life. And bring us to a crashing thunder halt. The Winnebago of the driftless know that. So does the mountain wolf woman and thunder woman, for her cries are from the deep, Paleolithic time of the true ecology of the driftless mind. The true ecology of the driftless mind. Bodhisattvas and sutras of compassion live here too, singing Om Namaha Shivaya, Om Namaha Shivaya, Om Namaha Shivaya. This is not just any full moon. This sorrow, this grief so deep, takes you back to the cocoon of your existence, up in Echo Hollow, in some front store unit of Moon Zoo. And the compassionate driftless Mississippi refuses no river. And the compassionate driftless Mississippi refuses no river. And the full moon pulls riptides of deep driftless currents till they burn on our back, and a new name coming in from deep Adina, and a new name coming in from deep Adina, near Wadena, and the healing energy waves of the deep astrocartographical mound culture charts our bioregional mapping back into the stars. This astrocartography, biopsychic mapping of our vertical cosmic self leads us back into the constellations of the stars, our true birthplace. And these emanations of the second vision are the coming of our starseed transmissions, of our double diamond vertex sutra embedded in our very RNA. And the world becomes anew, and the world becomes anew in our very marrow, and sinew, right here in situ and driftless. For here lay the bedrock of the world. For this fifth round of humanity, here the flowering of the sixth sun will pulsate as emanations, and Phaedra is replaced with Arhate as we follow the path with a heart, through the Holy Trinity of love, light, and life, and the Immaculate Conception at the Sacre-Cœur White Cross, at the geomagnetic deviation zone of telluric standing stones at Backbone, bursts Earth Boy 40 into laughing Mirth Boy 40, and the whole thing is at standstill, as all this anomalous phenomena laughs, as fireflies flicker their biosexuality into the July night and shape-shift their merry lovemaking into midsummer night's dream of morphogenic resonance fields of fairy light in flight. And this rapture of plane whirls us into unknown space, terra incognita, standing right under our feet, as we are graced for the first time to see driftless with the second vision, and return to dream time. It inures and ensures this deep ecology planet drum bioregional mapping is beginning to psychogenically form new ideograms of imago mundi in our minds. Through wild crafting into deep stone certainty, a new story as we become but one carrier of the dream wheel. We become one carrier of the dream wheel, and Wambly and Wapiti and Ursa Major can't help but hurry her return as amazing grace. So this is part of the journey this day. Greenfire here in Iowa City on the first Monday in October 2019. And may this be a balm of Gilead for your heart, dear friends. For your heart, for your brain, for your mind, for your beautiful face. For the joy of the journey is within. As the joy of the journey, we are all part of this dream wheel. We are all carriers of the dream wheel. And as we unfold into our own awakening, may we all come together, as Greta Thunberg was here last Friday, and maybe I'll help slow down global warming, slow it down to turtle time, and restore our time credit account on the big Gaia seasonal wheel. Let us restore credit not only to ourselves but to this generation and the seventh generation yet to come. For in truth, the seventh generation yet to come was us 7 years ago, 7 generations ago. So if you look back to the year 1819 in your great grandparents' eyes, when they were thinking about the seventh generation, they were thinking about us. And so we send our eyes into the future and think of the seventh generation yet to come, which is in the year 2219. So sending our eyes into the future and sending our eyes into the past, we lift the wing of humanity, of cultural diversity and species diversity, and then we become a planetary interdependence of one. So peace to you and all of yours, and may you have a beautiful week. Peace.